What is up, YouTube? It is me, Tony the Gamer, back for another video. Now, I should have done this, way before this, this year. This came out last year. I already seen it, so I wanted to share, my review on this, and I hope you enjoy if you already seen this. And notice there is spoilers at the end. So what happens is that we see a car, and Logan, he stays in the car. He's in a limo, I would say, but then, as these, gangsters, try to steal his wheels, and then, yeah, he gets shot, and then does kill every single one of them. And then he puts back the wheel and then drives away. So what he's doing is that, like, if he was gonna take like a celebrity, he would just like celebrity. If like that's what the limo is for. But then he goes to this old abandoned place, but this is as surprisingly, I was actually surprised that that Charles Xavier was still alive. But then we knew that the rest of the X-Men, they're all dead. I think except Storm, I think. But then yeah, Storm is just the last one. But then anyways, he goes back to Logan goes back to his place. Goes to his place. He meets Charles Xavier. Like I said, I was so surprised. And then he meets I forgot who his name was. He hates sunlight. He's allergic to sunlight, like I should say. Or if he I don't know. But then he gives Charles Xavier pills, and then he just leaves. And then he meets this woman when he's at the funeral of the X-Men. But then he tries to walk away, and then later he goes to this apartment, and he meets X-23, or as I like to call her, Laura, which is the girl that you see on the screen right now. So why she's here is because she's a clone of Wolverine. And she has 2 claws instead of 3. And has 1 claw in her foot. Which was sort of... When I first saw her have that in her shoe, I was mind blown. Like what Marvel has done for her. But then later they meet this guy. Oops. They meet this guy that wants to take Laura. But then they successfully escape. But then they go to this hotel with Charles Xavier. I mean, before that they were just at a gas station, and then yeah, they went to the hotel, and then and then I'm sorry if I'm forgetting some stuff in this movie. The the woman that that Logan met, that had Laura, she died, and then she left the video and for what happened. But then later, but then where I was going back, where I'm going back to the hotel, the people tried, the soldiers, that guy that tries to get Laura, he sends in troops, but then Xavier, he has this kind of I don't know what I would call it, but it's like he would stop time, but then people can still move. And Logan tries to Logan saves the day. He does claws the baddies. The brutal part was when he put his claws underneath the chin, underneath his chin, and then on top of his head you can see the claws, and it was crazy. I mean, there's so many brutal scenes in this movie, which makes Wolverine prove himself that he's really, really mature. Sure, there's some scenes that are brutal in comics, and then they escape from the guy that wants to get Laura, and then all of a sudden they lose the guy and his soldiers by a train that would take a really long time. And then Logan and in the gang, they find a colored family, and then they spend the night to their house since they couldn't find somewhere. And then later, in the nighttime, the guy, he sends in another clone, X-24. He's basically just Wolverine, just with his some of his hair shaved off. He does kill the colored family, and also, just a spoiler, he kills Charles Xavier. And then, but then, the guy that I said that's allergic to sunlight, he was forced to tell where they were, and then he killed himself, and then there was an explosion in the van where 24 was released. But then this time only, finally, throughout the movie, we did not hear a thing from Laura. She didn't speak at all until they were in the van. She knows how to speak Spanish often, but a little bit of English. I forgot to say this, but Laura is the daughter of Wolverine now. At least that's what the woman said to Logan. But then they go to this place to eat it, and they try to go to Eden, but then they find these kids that are mutants. They have their own powers. They spend the night there, and then they try to travel some more until the guy finally finds them. And then they try to kill all the kids, but the kids successfully kill everyone except the guy that wants to get war, not yet at least. But then 24X24 is released again, and he kills. This is a spoiler. He kills Logan by just charging him at a log, at a log, which has a big twig that stabbed him. But then he gets killed by a van being dropped on him, and then the mutant kids they kill. I don't know if they killed him or they just tortured him. They kill the guy that wants to get Laura. But then there's this is a really sad part about Logan. Logan dies. But then Laura puts a little. She puts a cross on his on where he was buried, but then she turned it to X, which was a really ironic part for X-Men and a good reference to it. And then she walks with the mutant kids, and then the movie ends. I thought this was there was some funny scenes, just a few, but there was a lot of brutal scenes in this movie that no kid would want to see. But I'm mature enough to see these kind of movies. And I hope all of you are. And I guess that's it for Logan. I don't know if we're gonna get another movie for at least Laura, because when we heard about Logan, the actor Hugh Jackman, he said that this movie was his final movie for playing as Wolverine. I mean, he's been doing this for 17 years. That's a very long time, if you ask me. And yeah, I guess that's it for the Logan. I hope all of you enjoyed this review, and make sure and go ahead and subscribe if you're new, and you can check out all of my videos in my playlist. Hit that like button, share with your family and friends, and also comment down below what you think about this movie, and if you think there's going to be a sequel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.